We're back with our Week 5 NFL analysis. I've only gotten like a combined 9 hours of sleep over the past 2 nights, so I'm super tired while I make this video. I have been drinking a lot of caffeine though, so these bets should be pretty good. We got the C4 and the Starbucks here, so we're chilling. Skittles flavored too, by the way. But anyways, we're gonna get right into it. Last week we won about 54% of our bets. The strategy wasn't awful, so we're gonna stick with it this week, and I'm gonna put something behind my ID real quick. Alright, so we're just gonna dive right into this. The first game is the Giants versus the Packers. In this game, I like the over 40.5. It's a game somewhere not in America. I don't even know where it is. I just know it starts at 9:30, so it's not in America. It might be in London, I don't know, Germany. I think they have games in Germany now, but I feel like they're going to want to put on a show somewhere, so 40.5 seems a little low for this game, in my opinion. So we're going to go over 40.5 on this. We're just going to put the basic 5 on there. If you guys are new, by the way, what I do is for most games, I'll make a player prop and a big 6 bet, and my big 6 is what I call is like the over-unders, money lines, and the spread. So that's what I call the big 6. I pick one from there, and I pick a player prop or something like that. So for the player prop for this game, I like Saquon Barkley, rush plus receiving yards. It's at 108. And I'm just going to keep doing this until they make it like 120 or whatever. He's going to lead the NFL in rushing yards this year. And for the next game, we are going on to the Seahawks versus the Saints. And in this game, I like the Seahawks plus 5.5. The Seahawks have been able to keep games close even if they lose. They just played, I don't remember who won that big game against the Lions and the Seahawks, but that was like the game of the year so far in my opinion. There was like over 90 points scored, so the over could be safe too. But I think the Seahawks plus 5.5 is a bit better in my opinion. So I'm going to take that. The player prop for this game, I like Tyler Lockett receiving yards. I think that Marcus Lattimore will be shadowing more DK Metcalf than Tyler Lockett, because Tyler Lockett plays in a slot a lot of times, so I think that is a safe bet in my opinion. On to the next game, we have the Titans versus the Commanders. And on this game, I do like the Titans minus 1.5. I just went to the Colts versus Titans game. It was sad. I'll just leave it at that. I don't think that the Titans are the best team in the NFL, but at the same time, I don't think that the Commanders are good at all. I think that Carson Wentz just struggles, especially against the Titans. I remember last year, Carson Wentz against the Titans just totally choked the game at the end, so I wouldn't be shocked if he does something similar. He's not good, in my opinion. He's been decent in terms of getting yards, at least the first 2 weeks he kind of fell off the past few weeks, but what do you expect as Carson Wentz? For a player prop for this game, I like Derrick Henry's longest rush over 15.5. He'll be getting the ball out because I do expect him to be winning the whole game for the most part. Maybe not the whole game, but especially in the
I've been just a stepdaughter and so I was 4.
I expect the Titans to be winning in the second half, so I expect them to be getting a lot of carries. So I do expect Derrick Henry's longest rush to be over 15.5 yards, so we're going to take that for the player prop for this game. And moving on to the next game, we have the Lions versus the Patriots. What I'm taking in this game is the over 45.5. The Lions have been putting up points. They have a great offense. I don't think DeAndre Swift is playing again, but they don't need DeAndre Swift when Jamal Williams is getting over 100 yards. That moves me on to the player prop for this week. We are going to go with either Damian Harris or Jamal Williams to have over 100 rushing yards. It's plus 140, and Jamal Williams has been pretty good. And that gets me on to the next game, which is the Steelers versus the Bills. I know I said I kept taking it over in a lot of these games, but for this game, I'm actually going to go with the under. I don't think that the Steelers will be able to keep up much at all with the Bills with their offense, so I'm going to go, I could go the spread, but it's minus 14, and I think that's a bit too much, so I'm going to go with the under instead, because I don't expect the Bills to put up too many points. I do think that they'll put up maybe 25, but the Steelers, I don't think they'll put up much at all. For the player prop for the Steelers versus Bills, Josh Allen's over for his passing yards. He's in it almost every week except 1 week, so that's the player prop for that game. And for the next game, we have the Dolphins versus the Jets. I don't like anything in the big 6, so I'm going to go I'm just going to do a player prop for this game. And what the player prop I'm going to do is I'm going to do Michael Carter's longest catch over 8.5 yards. I don't think that the Jets will be winning this game, so I don't think they'll be running the ball too much, and I think that they'll be dumping the ball off to Michael Carter and Breece Hall a lot, so I do expect Michael Carter to at least get 1 catch over 9 yards. And for the next game, we have the Bears versus Vikings, and I also didn't do a big 6 bet on this game, and instead I'm putting $10 on Dalvin Cook's rushing plus receiving yards. He's done it almost every week this year, at least the last 2 weeks, but he hasn't gotten touchdowns, and that's why people are kind of sleeping on him. He just needs to get in the end zone, and then people will get back to the normal how Dalvin Cook is a great running back. So we're gonna go Dalvin Cook over 93.5 rushing plus receiving yards. You could just take rushing yards, and I think that'd be kind of safe, but we're just gonna play it here with a rushing plus receiving. We're gonna go with that for that game. No big 6 for that one. And that moves us on to the next game, which is the Falcons versus the Buccaneers. And for this game, I like the over 46.5, and I like that because I think that the Buccaneers have been putting up points, especially last week when they lost the game. And I think that Tom Brady's going to come out pissed, and I think that he's just going to do really good against the Falcons. And the Falcons have a decent offense. They have a lot of weapons for Marcus Mariota. Over 46.5, I like for the Big Six on the Falcons versus Bucks game. And that gets me on to the player prop for that game, which I like. Leonard Fournette's longest rush over 15.5 yards. I don't think he did good at all last week. I think that if he didn't get saved by that touchdown at the end, but luckily he did because I did have a different bet on it that I didn't even put on here. This week, I think that he's going to come out and get a lot of rushing yards. He got his rushing touchdown stolen last week from their backup. I don't remember his name. I think he's a rookie. I don't know. But the Jaguars versus the Texans. And for this game, I like the over 43.5. It's minus 105, so that's pretty good value. And also, the Jaguars have been miraculously somehow putting up a lot of points. I guess Trevor Lawrence isn't a bad quarterback like I really thought last year and at the beginning of this season. The player prop for this game, and as I said, Trevor Lawrence has been impressing me, so I'm going to go and I'm going to bet on him. I'm sure it's not going to hit because every time I bet on the Jaguars or something, they just do me dirty. I'm not a Jaguars fan at all. I hate them. But I'm going to put my $5 on Trevor Lawrence for this game for the player prop. He's been getting a lot of passing touchdowns. He's been looking really good, and then going against the weak Texans defense, even though Matt Ryan couldn't do good because I guess Matt Ryan just is not him. And that gets me on to the next game. We have the Chargers versus the Browns. And for this game, I like the Chargers minus 2.5. The Chargers are a very good team, in my opinion. I think that they're still one of the elite teams in the NFL, despite not having the best record or showing it quite as much as I expect them to. I think that they're going to really pop off here soon. I don't know when, whether it's this week or next week or whatever, but I do expect them to at least win by 2.5 points against the Browns. So I'm going to take Chargers minus 2.5 for that game. And that gets me on to the player prop, which I'm going to put $10 on this one, which is Justin Herbert's passing yards over 279.5. I expect him to have at least 300 passing yards this week going against the Browns defense, who hasn't been too great, but not the worst. But Justin Herbert hasn't really had too much rushing help with Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler hasn't had the best season so far. Maybe that's why they haven't popped off as much as I expect them to. And on that one, so we have a double up. We're doubling down on that one. Getting on to the next game, 49ers versus the Panthers. And for this game, I can't believe I'm actually going to do this, but I'm going to take under the 39. I don't know why I am doing this. It's like, this is a bold move in my opinion because 39 is so low for the NFL, but both of these offenses just suck. DJ Moore hasn't been good. Christian McCaffrey hasn't been good. The 49ers offense isn't good. Outside of like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle's not him anymore, I guess. I don't know. On to the player prop for this game. The 49ers rush defense is really good. So I think that Christian McCaffrey is the best player on the Panthers still. So I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey receiving yards because they're going to try to get him the ball in different ways other than rushing. So we're going to take Christian McCaffrey over 33.5 receiving yards. That's not that many at all. I think that he could easily end up with like over 80. So I think that that's a very, very safe bet. It's minus 120. They know it's safe. So that's the player prop we're doing for that game. And for the next game, we have the Cowboys versus the Rams. And for this game, I like the Rams minus 5.5. Cooper Rush is playing again, and the Rams just came out of a heartbreaker against the 49ers in prime time, and they looked really bad and not good at all. So I do expect them to come out pissed, and they're going to win this game by at least 5.5. And that gets me on to the player prop for this game, which I like. Matthew Stafford over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think that he's going to come out passing the ball to Cooper Kupp a lot like he always does, and I think that will also end up finding Allen Robinson and stuff too. Allen Robinson hasn't come on my bet all this season, so that is the player prop for that game. And that gets me on to the next game, which we have the Eagles versus the Cardinals. And for this game, I like the over 49. Both offenses are very good, and both defenses are not that good. The Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now. I don't know why. I never would have expected that, but they are, and they've been putting up a lot of points and that's why they're the best team in the NFL, because they put up points. That gets me on to the player prop for this game, and I like Jalen Hurts passing plus rushing yards. It's over 297.5. Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal this season. He's been doing really good. That's why they're winning the games. That's why they're putting up the points, because of Jalen Hurts, what he can do with his legs and passing the ball. And that gets me on to the primetime games. In the first primetime game, we have the Bengals versus the Ravens. I think that this will be a really good game. For this game, I think that I'm going to go with the over, or I am going with the over, I know I am. And I think that that'll hit because both offenses are very good, as I've been saying for a lot of these teams. And Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He puts up points, and that's all I gotta say. And getting on to the Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. We're going with a bet that we've made the past 2 weeks. It didn't hit last week, but it's hit every other week. So we're gonna go with Lamar Jackson, pass plus receiving yards. This week it's set at 289.5, and I just love making this bet because I just think it's so entertaining watching Lamar Jackson. It just gives me something extra to cheer for. That gets us on to the last game of the week, which is the Raiders versus the Chiefs. And for this game, I do like the Chiefs -7. The Chiefs showed me last week after the Colts beat them that they are a great team. I just had to put the after the Colts beat them, but they obviously didn't play good against the Colts, and they kind of blew the game for themselves in that game. So I do expect them to come out, and they're not going to make the same mistake twice in like close weeks. It wouldn't be back to back, but in like a span of 3 weeks, I don't expect them to come out like that. So I am going to take Chiefs -7. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I do enjoy watching them put up a lot of points because it is kind of fun watching Patrick Mahomes, who I'm not a fan of, do what he does, even though a lot of times he's just doing that little bullshit. And that gets us on to the last bet of the week. We're not going with a player prop for this game because there's not any player props opening because I'm doing this on a Thursday. So for the last one, we're going with another big six. We're just going to go with the over 51. I think that this will be a fun game to watch in primetime. Last week, the Chiefs put up a lot of points in primetime. And the Raiders, I don't know, they have a great offense, and the Chiefs defense has been good, but I don't know, I think that the Chiefs defense still gave up a lot of points last week to the Buccaneers, so I think that the Raiders should be able to put up a lot of points as well because they have better weapons, especially healthy weapons on their offense. So I do think that the over 51 will hit for this game. And my camera is about to die, and that's why also I've been rushing really quick because it keeps beeping or flashing. So that is a wrap up for the Week 5 NFL analysis. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about my analysis, what you guys think about these bets, what you guys think might happen, what I'm missing out on, what you think is dumb. And also make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week for my NFL analysis. And I'm also going to be uploading another eating challenge next week, and I also want to just upload random videos, as I keep saying every week, but I keep not doing it, but I'm actually going to start doing it. And also shout out Cooley's dad, shout out Emerson. I told him I'd give him a shout out, so shout out Emerson, big S, big Scottage. I will see you guys next week. Peace.